The first time I met a Duininck was in the 80s, the late 80s, in California. And I was at a leadership meeting, a round table they called it, run by Fuller Seminary. And Norm, you were there and you were asked to talk about the structure of your company. And you said some things that absolutely amazed me. You said, we don't have much of a structure. We don't have a real acting CEO who's there. It just works. And I could see everybody was put off. Nobody was terribly interested until David Hubbard said, Norm, tell the guys what your company does. And when you said that you laid thousands of miles of blacktop road, you built bridges, you built golf courses, you controlled the wild rice industry, and you did all of this other stuff, aviation and other things, everybody was sitting on the edges of their seats, and they said to you, how does this work? And you made a statement that affected me very deeply and affected everybody else. You said it works because we're brothers.
All of the second generation brought, again, a unique talent to the operation. And that blend was, so perfect. If you can look in retrospect 30 years past of bringing together all of the different components that you need in a successful business.
I appreciate doing business with them because they have hopefully what I think is a lot of my philosophy, and that is basically honesty and integrity and just a friendship built into whoever you do business with. And they have all of that, but they're strong business people too. They're very hard negotiators.
They'll go out and bid any place, regardless of who else is bidding a job. They're just not scared to go out. At one time there was a lot of contractors kind of decided who got the job, and they'll go out there and they'll bid anywhere, anytime they feel like it, and so they have a tendency to shake up the marketplace. So
I know that there's a lot of times I'd get home and my wife would ask who that got the job, and I'd say Duininck's.
I guess they moved to Texas and started the operation in 1985. And for a couple of years, we were just competitors. And sometimes I'd wonder who are actually my competitors, because I never did see them. They'd bid work, get work, but you never did see anybody. So I asked a supplier one day, I said, who are the Duininck brothers?
Well, Curtis was their equipment guy. He was the mechanical genius.
Kurt could say something to somebody in a way, and he'd really tick them off. But Willis could say the same thing, and they'd just love him. Because Willis was more of a diplomat than Kurt. But yet, when it came to something technical, and that Kurt was the strong suit.
Willis, I think, was very, very dynamic, a very good leader, personable, very personable, and he had something. There was something about him that he just made every person feel important and appreciated.
Willis is a absolute beautiful gentleman. He is, again, like Harris, he's a tough negotiator, but he's very fair, and he's very personable. And I can't say enough about him. He's just a real sweet, wonderful man.
Harris brings to, whether it's Duininck companies or anybody that he's associated with, just a very street smart type individual. He can look at a situation and work through it very quickly.
The prime thing I remember is how he had a reputation in the industry of being a tough guy to deal with. And that is just a front.
Well, Harris and I always had fun together, but well, Harris would get in the airplane and he'd be figuring something or be trying to figure a job or something. And Harris is a kind of a character. He'd never have a pen, he'd never have a calculator, never have a piece of paper. Then when we got out of the airplane, he'd never have any money, so I'd always give him money.
Larry, he's very focused, and when he goes out deer hunting, he's there to get his deer. When he's got a service problem on a piece of equipment, he's there to get it addressed.
I was running a hot mix plant up at Turkovan somewhere in that area, and he was pushing aggregate into my hot mix plant. All at once the belt went dry, and I shut down and walked back there and wondered what happened to Larry. And he come walking out of the cornfield with a shotgun and a pheasant in his hand. He was hunting pheasants. And I ran to him about that ever since.
I've always looked up to Lee. I've always appreciated his attitude towards people. He's honorable.
Once you give him a task or a job to complete, there's no worry that it won't be completed. It will be, completed on time and more efficiently and quicker than probably anybody else could do it.
I think Norm was a visionary and very forward-thinking. He's the one that hired me and always virtually taught me, really.
He was much quieter, much reserved, but again, very prepared with, the area that he was working in the area of finances, and very knowledgeable. Again, he took more of the engineer's mentality of calculating it and making sure it worked.
I don't think you can ask for better guys than them. I really don't. And I've seen guys leave the company. And you know what? In about a year, they came back and they wanted to get back on their jobs again.
The Duinicks have always, in the past, been known to get their jobs based on their employees giving 10% more than their competitors. The relationship as far as owners of a company to the people who work for them has been truly awe-inspiring. It's something I've tried to duplicate in my own business.
Always come around and see how you were and give you a bonus once in a while and pat on the back. And
All the blessings or the satisfaction that I've gotten from that job, I give a lot of credit to the leadership because they've given me the freedom to use my personality to serve others and then be rewarded for that service. So I kind of appreciate that.
They're always accessible to almost any employee of the company that wants to visit with them about some issue or something, including being sensitive to family issues that people have. They're I'd say very sensitive to that.
It's nice when the boss knows your kids' names. And it's nice when the employee knows the boss's kids' names.
They were just appreciative, and I got to be real friends with them, to be truthful with you. Through the years, we went to basketball games in Princeburg, and some of them came to Benson to basketball games for my kids. We just grew up to be friends.
The work was what we did during the day, but we still, enjoyed each other on the weekends and in the evenings and on vacations and wherever life would take us.
I admire their honesty, I admire their work ethic, and I admire their commitment to the community and the county that they live in.
Their influence has been great in this town, in Princeburg. From the standpoint of the church, the school, very influential, very influential.
Whether it's with financing or with the resources they had, they were willing to share it. No one knows what the future holds and what's down the road, but I would say that I hope your roads are paved with concrete, overlaid with nice asphalt, and smooth running. And I just certainly wish you well. It's been a pleasure working with you. I've never regretted it for a minute.